The first time that I saw an adult sex film, I almost made headlines. Now, this is way back in the 1960s. Some of you may not have been born yet. And I was 16 years old, and I got a job as an usher at the Carolina Theater in my hometown, one of those majestic movie palaces at the top of Main Street, had 1,000 seats in it, and I wore a blue blazer and a white shirt and a little red tie, and I was so cool, 16 years old, working in this theater. And I didn't have a car yet, so I had to take the bus. I lived about 4 miles, 5 miles away, and if I didn't get on that last bus out at 11:30, I'd have to walk home. It'd be past my bedtime, but worse than that, it'd be past my father's bedtime. So every night I worked, I tried to get back. And the movie-going experience, some of you look like you were around in the 1960s, to know that we didn't have multiplexes. You saw one movie all day long, over and over again. The movie, the newsreel, the cartoons, and you could just pay a ticket, open in the morning at 10, and we closed at night, late at night. And some people did actually stay there. Old people in the summertime when it was hot would come in and cool off. Sometimes parents would drop their kids off, and they would stay there while they went shopping. Well, I enjoyed being an usher. When I first started, I'm going to see all these free movies. But after you've seen a movie a dozen, 2 dozen times, it's not much fun anymore, especially if it was a Jerry Lewis movie. And back in those days, it was too long, too much. In fact, I have several movies from the 1960s running through my head because I know every word of Bye Bye Birdie. Now, the other perk that I got for working there was that I could go to any movie theater downtown free because I was an usher. But there was one theater I couldn't go to, the Paris Theater. Now, things had gotten hard for the movie business, and the Paris had started showing what they called adult films. Now, these were not pornography, not what we know today. These were cheaply made, low production value, about an hour long sexploitation films. And there was a lot of female nudity, not so much male nudity. And I'd walk by that theater and I'd look at the titles and I'd think, there's something there, man. Boobarella, Spankenstein, Yank My Doodle Dandy. Oh my, and Come Blow, You're Horny. They like to parody real movies. And I was kind of curious about what went on there. And one day, Jerry, who was the general manager of the Carolina, he said, I'm going to close up early tonight, and I'm going down to the Paris because they're going to show the raunchiest movie that we've ever had in town. Do you guys want to go along? And Harold was the head usher. He was head because he got hired 2 months before I did. And we could go down there with him, and we could get in because he knew the general manager. And I'm thinking, okay, sure. Now, forgive me, ladies, because I didn't know about exploiting women at the time. I was 16 years old. My hormones were raging. I wanted to see what this was like. Now, I had seen naked women, we called them naked women, in the Playboy magazine. I would go down to the corner store and open Field and Stream and slip a Playboy inside and peruse the articles. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go down there tonight and we're going to see this movie. And Jerry, the manager, says, well, it's called Closer to the Bone. I said, well, I don't want to see the bone, but what gets close to it, maybe. And so Harold and I, we're going down there. I already decided if I missed the bus, I'd walk home, and I'd probably need to walk home after seeing this. So we go into the theater, and we're down there, and we keep seeing. Here's the way it worked. There was all these previews for coming attractions, and there was some hour-long movie, and then another hour-long movie, and more previews, and more previews. And all the way through that, we kept seeing this preview called Forced to Make Love to the Fat Man. And they had a guy who was kind of overweight with a thong, and he was chasing a good-looking woman. And we saw this over and again, like 4 or 5 times. About the 5th time, they were doing a preview. The manager comes running down. He taps Jerry on the shoulder. He says, I got a tip. The cops are coming. And it's going to be trouble. And if we got underage teenagers in here, it'll be worse. So you guys got to get out of here. So they headed us to the back door, and we got out the back exit. And I had to walk home because I missed the bus. And the next morning, I looked in the paper, and it's Paris Theater closed down, manager arrested. The patrons were let go, but they wanted their money back, and there was an ugly scene at the box office. And I thought, boy, I'm so glad that didn't happen to me. But for years afterward, whenever I would run into Harold at a school reunion or something, we'd look at each other kind of simultaneously and would say, "Forced to make love to the fat man."